We welcome you to another live edition of the Sports Box, brought to you by our sponsor, Showcase Sports in Hamilton. Showcase Sports for the elite athlete. And by our friends over at CrowdPlay. Download the free CrowdPlay app today and check them out at www.crowdplayapp.com for details. Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime.
Hey everybody, welcome to Cage by IQ. I'm your host, D-Bake. Joining with me today is one championship welterweight contender, Amir Khan. How are you doing today, Amir?
Yes, doing good so far. How about you?
I am doing good. It's just beginning the day, so and it's nice out, so you can't complain about that. But just before we get started, I just wanted to get your opinion on one championship. How has it been fighting for one championship, and how do you like the weight cuts?
Yeah, so one championship so far, I have a very good experience with them. So I think they take care of all the athletes really well. And yeah, the new weight cut experience has been amazing because right now I fight at 77. It's actually lightweight because all the weights move up respectively. So yeah, I used to fight at 66 kilo featherweight with all the dehydration, and I knew it's kind of really unhealthy for my body. But yeah, so right now in lightweight, I'm kind of walking around my weight actually. So I just diet for 2 weeks and go to war.
So basically, compared to anything else, it's a really good experience because you don't have to vigorously try and cut weight, which is good. Like I asked everybody in one how they like it, and everybody says the same thing. I love it. It's easier to maintain, and I'm not crazy going into fight week because I'm not trying to cut too much.
Yeah, I guess in a bigger spectrum, it's require more discipline because you have to be let's say because you need to be more on your diet, your good diet for most of the time of the year. You can't really blow out too much because you can't do that last minute weight cut. So but on fight week, on nearing to the fight, it's always much more pleasant experience. I have usually when you're cutting weight, you don't remember fight week because you just care about eating. You just don't you get annoyed and everything else. So I feel with this weight cut, it just gives you a more pleasant experience throughout the fight week, and I get to enjoy the interviews and I get to enjoy interaction with everyone, and I just I remember more of the fight week.
Yeah, but enough of that. Let's move into some of the questions I have for you. The first one I have for you is, how was life like growing up, and what did you do as a kid to pass the time?
So life for me was good and bad because as you guys know my stories, I grew up with Tourette, so I didn't really had a lot of friends growing up. So but one thing, I got a very supportive and loving dad, so I spent a lot of time with my dad. And what I did a lot was actually I was playing golf. My first kind of dreams in life was to be a professional golfer. So I wanted to be Tiger Woods because my dad teaches golf, so I play golf, and that's what I do most of my time until I found Muay Thai and martial arts, and then it changed my course of my life 180.
That's actually one of the next questions I have for you. What led to you deciding to learn MMA at age 5 and then Muay Thai at age 13?
So actually at age 5 or 6, in Singapore, everyone does taekwondo as a curriculum. So I was just kind of with school exposed in the taekwondo, but I didn't really consider a real experience because I only did 6 months or 1 year into it, but I was not serious into it, and I don't know, I was just not clicking into it, so I didn't really count that as my first experience. So I would say my first experience, real proper learning proper way of fighting, it's when I was 13 and 14, around the age when I learned in a Muay Thai gym. That's where I fully focused, fully committed, and I felt where I did most of my learning comes from. And that kind of changed my life, and that kind of found my passion. When I was doing Muay Thai, I knew I wanted to do this for the rest of my life. I want to do combat sports.
Now, did it give you more confidence just because, like you said, growing up, having Tourette's and everything, you didn't feel confident with people.
Yeah.
Like, did that help you out?
Yeah, I think it helped me out a lot because because everyone confidence you need to have like, especially when you're a kid in school, you need to have a
Yeah.
thing. Like I know in America, like okay, you're like a football player, then you give
Yeah.
you know how the confidence come from. So I was in search for my thing. I mean, I was not really smart academically, and I was the weird kid in school. I was skinny, scrawny, and like just like because I make a lot of funny faces, twitches with Tourette's. So yeah, so like the moment I started Muay Thai and when I started fighting, then finally I had the thing. And I always feel in life when you start doing something, when you start doing something great in life, everyone will they will kind of overlook your negatives.
Yeah.
But if you're nobody, they only pick on your negative. But let's say if okay, I'm really a fighter and I have something going on, and they have nothing, it's very hard for them to critique me. So I felt that kind of like elevate my confidence. Obviously, the confidence comes in like a slow, progressive manner, but I can feel it coming over the years as I train about martial arts.
Yeah, I was the same way when I was little. I have ADHD, so I was very hyper. And I was able to find a soccer at the time. And once I did that, I was able to kind of hide that because you're always moving in soccer. You always have to keep moving. And it was able to give me a thing where people kind of overlooked it because everybody's moving on the pitch. So
Right.
it gave me that thing to like get a little bit of confidence and then to push past that for the longest time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Exactly.
the next thing I have, can you tell me about who trained you and why you chose the fighting style you wanted to take in?
So like I didn't like kind of chose a specific style. I didn't choose Muay Thai because I thought it was like the
Yeah.
most superior martial art among all. I just chose Muay Thai because simply it was popular at that time in Singapore. So I wanted to learn proper fighting because like I think the right now the taekwondos, the karate, especially maybe in Singapore, like is they teach it more for as a pastime or curriculum. Like it doesn't have like a career path into it. Obviously, there's some schools, taekwondo schools, they have legitimate career path, but as a whole,
Yeah.
I see I want to learn something that I can defend myself in the street, like punches, kicking, elbow, and I wanted to. And at that point in time, I wanted it to be more violent. I was just more not violent, but I was more drawn into more like proper combat sports because I saw like K1 Max on TV. I
Yeah.
watched Walkout Pro Mark and some or even like John Wayne Pa, I kind of look up to them while growing up. So yeah, I figured why not try Muay Thai.
I was able to talk to John a couple months ago. He's a great guy.
Yeah,
He's a great guy and a good guy to look after. And he's really funny too.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Next question I have for you is, how do you like being as assistant instructor for Evolve MMA in Singapore?
Yeah, I think it's a good experience. For me, I right now I do it part time, so I don't coach full time. Fighting is my full time. I'm also actually studying right now. I'm doing a sports science degree, so I'm not much on the coaching side. But yeah, by giving me the opportunity to coach here and there, just like sometimes puts me perspective on the coaching and how to improve someone's skills and how to break down the skill into like in like small steps. I think just helps me understand the art better. So yeah, so far I kind of enjoy it whenever I got a chance.
Is that something that you would like to do when you're retired, to do like coaching full time?
I wouldn't say full time, but I would want to kind of like groom some athletes. Like I want to like focus more like maybe sport, like whoever want to be like proper mixed martial art fighter coming from Singapore. I want to groom them in the area. Like the training the proper way because I was in the era like which the first 5 years was like it was a mixture of old school going to new school, but it was still pretty like we didn't know the proper systematically way to train. And I feel like I think like with like now with the new knowledge, with like the sports science knowledge and the MMA training, we can combine it together and train in more systematic way, so we can progress faster in sport. Progress faster, so I can like groom the next generation. So yeah, so I would love to do it eventually.
And you mentioned you're studying for sports science. What
Yeah.
direction do you want to go with that degree?
So for me, I want to kind of specialize in sports psychology. So So right now I'm doing degree sports science, and I have a like good mentor. Like he's like the pioneer in sports psychology in Singapore, and the
Okay.
scene here is not so big. So I feel mental development it's very crucial in sport. Because I firsthand experience it. I firsthand experience how can you can like just like not activating certain part of your brain that could cause you to fight. Like because sometimes when you don't notice that when some people get knocked out, they keep getting knocked out or they keep losing on the losing streak because it's all a psychological factor. It's like whenever you get hit, the fear comes in and the past memories. So I always like kind of intrigued into that because I know it's like highly crucial, highly important, but not many people put the importance on it. So it's something I would like to kind of dig deeper into it.
Yeah, I know Emiliano Sordi, he fights in the PFL. He said that's what he did. He went and saw a sports psychologist to help him with that. And then that's when his career basically turned over from middle into really good once he started to see it, because the sports psychologist helped him out so much better with being prepared and then putting things in the past and not overthinking things.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing to know from you, because I remember reading about that from him actually last week.
Okay. That's really nice to hear.
Yeah. But next thing I have, known that you, I read that you like golf and then football. Well, what are some of your favorite sports athletes?
Sports athletes. I mean, I always looked up to Tiger Woods growing up. Like, and like other than that, I get inspiration from Muhammad Ali. I get inspiration from a lot of fighters. A lot of fighters. I wouldn't have like one key idol, but I would say one key idol is Tiger Woods because growing up I had an emotional connection with him because I wanted to, because he kind of stand out among everyone. He wanted to be the best. I like his drive, his attitude, and his work ethic. So I felt, even though it's not related to my combat sport, but it's still like I feel the principles are the same. So like I took a lot of inspiration from that. Yeah.
And speaking of Muhammad Ali, that transitions into my next one. Tell me about your admiration for Muhammad Ali, because I know I've read you really looked into him. What started you taking a look at Muhammad Ali?
I like what I love about him is like his creativity. Like like when the way he fights, like everyone thinks it's like it's not the proper way of boxing, but because he has the belief in it, and he wants to he believes in being creative, like almost like Bruce Lee approach. You have to kind of be creative and show your expression. And I feel like he's the only person that I felt that can really show his expression in the boxing ring, and I think that's what kind of drawn to me a lot, because that's what makes him different. And other than that, he's also very bold, very courageous, and I like his, like whenever he say things, he does it, and he's like a man of his word. So he's a man of honor as well. So
he's one of the first fighters too to exploit the mental side of the game instead of just the physical, where like you can do whatever you want with training and whatnot, but to have the mental side makes it twice as better, because then you can psych your opponent out or make them think you're going to do one thing and then do another. He's one of the pioneers of starting that.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have any cheat meals you can speak up on?
Cheat meals, like what I enjoy eating, like if I don't have a fight or something. I like good beef burgers, and like chicken wings, like even like Wingstop. Wingstop. They recently came to Singapore over the last few years. I think Wingstop. And when I was in US, for a while, like 3 years. So I know like Buffalo Wild Wings. I kind of miss them too. When I was there, I was like going wild on that too. So
where were you staying in the US?
In Louisiana, like Shreveport, Louisiana. Yeah, it's like one small town. Like I know people ask me why you go there, but it's just because I had the opportunity to go there, and to be honest, I enjoyed my experience over there. I had a lot of good friends, good experience, good time.
Dustin Poirier country.
Yeah, actually, I trained with him once. Actually, I don't know whether he remembered, but a long time ago we kind of crossed gym just once. But yeah, it was really good experience.
Oh, good. I was just about to ask how was training with him.
yeah, I think good experience, and I kind of like right now I kind of look up to him because I see him grown so much. I remember he was really he was like really tough to approach. Like like we really look. I mean, I don't know about personality, but he looks from the outside arrogant and stuff. But right now I feel like he's grown as a man, and like I really see that how he changed a lot, and I kind of have a kind of admire his progress in sport.
And then he has a big fight in a couple of weeks too. So
Right.
and then I definitely agree with you on that, because he used to fight like he didn't really control his anger in the octagon the same. Now he's more poised and more patient, and you see with how he fights now. So that's good to know that you were able to train with them.
Yeah.
How tough was fighting just days after your father's passing? I know, that was back in December. So how was that?
Yeah. So I remember very clear. Like like he was sick for a while, like 4 months, because he was battling like brain cancer, and at the fight week, my mom like kind of told me like before because we have in Singapore with the COVID rules, we have to kind of check in the week of the fight. So like on like Monday I have to check in, and that's when he passed. So like I went to see him, and then he was really sick, like could hardly do anything. He was like on the ventilator and stuff. So I mean, did say my goodbyes, but then after like a couple hours, and I heard the news that he passed, and yeah, obviously he was really like my best friend, since growing up, especially I hang out with him most of my time, and we had a very very close bond. So I don't want to say it didn't really affect me in the fight, because at the point of time at that week I switch off my mind. I just like, but the only thing weird going in the fight, like I felt like no emotions. I kind of felt emotionless. I felt like nothing could hurt me. Like I don't really give a fuck. Like when I go in the fight, because I kind of went through something so difficult. Like nothing really else in the world matter. So I was just in that weird state during the fight week. Yeah. It's hard to explain, Even now, like after even 6 months after his death, it's still an ongoing process. I don't think grieving happens overnight. Like especially for everyone takes grieving differently. For me, I don't grieve right away. It takes time for me to process. Every time when I once in a while when I'm alone, when I dream of him, then I like start to grieve. Like have that different phases.
Yeah, so sometimes it's a small, long process for some people.
Yeah,
where it happens over time, and then eventually maybe you do get over it, but it's not something that happens overnight.
Yeah.
What have you been doing with your game to improve as a fighter to get to the next level of your career?
So right now, actually, 7 weeks ago, I had my ACL reconstruction injury, reconstruction surgery. So I thought, unfortunately, I was preparing for a fight, and my knee popped during training, and then I had a full rupture, and so I had to go do surgery. So right now I'm focusing a lot like what I can control a lot, like mental development training, like like kind of like I feel I kind of list out one thing that is preventing me from being a champion is just the self-belief. I kind of like I'm kind of working on that self-belief a lot, daily. I'm doing it daily because as much you say you're confident in a fight, the inner self-belief that really you can go through anyone, I think it takes a while to develop. So I feel that's only limiting factor for me. So I'm just working a lot on the mental development side of it while I'm injured right now. And I'm still training, but more like on rehab. I'm just like shadow boxing a bit, moving around, and yeah, I'm on like a strict diet. I use challenges, like I don't know, you heard in US it's popular, it's called like the 75 hard challenge. I do that kind of challenges to kind of like strengthen me mentally, like have more discipline, have more, I think I work on other areas of my life that will translate well into my fight as well. Because eventually I want to be strong in the cage and as a person as well. So I take every opportunity for development.
How far into your rehab are you?
Right now I'm just 7 weeks post-op. So in 3 more weeks I can start strengthening. Like getting back to fight, I would say maybe earliest I can do is end of the year. Earliest, earliest or maybe early next year. But I mean, just saying.
Are you chopping at the bit to get back into the cage, or are you just like, let me worry about the rehab, let me make sure I'm 100%, and then I'll worry about that?
Like I want to like I told my doctors, I told my team, like I want the program that gets me the fastest as possible. And then they were telling, okay, there's a protocol and stuff. But yeah, I mean, aside all the protocol, I want like the evidence. Like athletes, some athletes have done it like really quick. I want to, can you, because for me, I believe my body and I believe my regeneration. Like I can recover like really quick. And yeah, I want to do everything right, like eat the right foods and like also do the proper rehab. So I put myself in position to recover as fast as possible. So yeah, so like for me, as long I feel like I don't have to be like I'm not playing it. I won't say I'm playing it so safe. I just as long my team, I have big trust in my team. As long my team give me the green light, I'll go. If they say I can go next week, I'll go next week. But they will not do it because they only look for the best of me. So once I get a green light from them, I'll go, ready to go.
And you're still pretty young, so you still got a lot of time ahead of you. So as long as you make sure you are fully healthy now, it's just going to benefit you later on.
Yeah, exactly. So like I say, I'm 26, turning 27, and not yet in my prime. So I feel I still got like 10 years, at least 10 years in the sport. So like I'm not in a rush, to be honest. Not in a rush.
Yeah,
but I'm always taking every day, trying to do my best to can improve, because if you don't improve, someone else is going to improve and catch up.
It's crazy to think that 10 years ago, probably the earliest you would see a fighter come in was like 30. Now you see got people coming at 19, 20, 21 coming in. So it's either they're going to have a lot longer career, or they're going to be able to retire a little bit sooner than had they come in at 30.
Yeah, I mean, I think it benefits you like the earlier you do martial arts. But of course, there's pros and cons. Like some cases when you do too early, then you receive too much damage. If you don't do it properly, you receive too much damage early on. They also have a short-lived career. So I guess you just subjected to individual. But I feel if you do it the right way, with the proper precautions and like periodization and like proper training methods, and then you start as soon when you're a baby, like that's why I'm also like with my son. I'm like as soon as he's like 2 years old, I'm already like trying to teach him something, get him exposed, to all the even motor movements. It's not necessarily he'll be a fighter, but it will be good for development. So like as long as you do it the right way, I feel like the earlier the better.
How's being a father?
Yeah, it's been amazing, man. It's just a new experience. It's funny because I always tell people I was a kid until I become a dad. Like literally, I was still a kid. Then I found out because me and my wife, we were dating at the time, like 6 months in a relationship. We were just like dating, and then we found out she was pregnant, and then we decided to keep it. And so that it just changed my life, changed my outlook, and then I just take everything seriously. Like what I like, I don't only try to develop, let's say, in my like martial arts career. I try to develop in my like self development, because I have to kind of look after him. I have to guide him with the right values, with the right pathway. So I wouldn't say pressure, but I put like that kind of urgency in me. I have to, if I can't waste a day. I can't just waste a day, the whole day on watching Netflix and like eating chips and like waste my life. Even I'm injury, I'm trying to develop myself. That's why I'm studying. That's why I'm always reading. I'm doing other stuff. I'm challenging myself at different programs, and so that's what I'm all about.
What are some of your hobbies outside of MMA to keep your mind sane? Because as you know, you don't want to do everything just MMA because you might burn yourself out. So what are some things that you do outside of it?
I mean, I used to, when I was like say before I became that, I used to like do like play games and hang out with my friends. But right now I'm just reading a lot. I'm studying and reading. That's what I'm doing like most of the time. Once in a while, like maybe once in 2 weeks, I like if I feel I need some like cohesion time with my friends, I go out and have a dinner with them. Like nothing crazy, just like have a simple dinner and just talk. But most of the time I'm just like studying, reading, trying to develop myself in other areas.
And then one of my last questions I have for you before I let you go: what advice can you give amateur fighters who want to make it pro?
The advice I will give you guys, like, get as much experience under your belt. Don't rush to become to be a pro. In my case, I kind of felt I rushed it. I felt if I could have, I only had like 4 or 5 amateur MMA pro fights. If I could have 20, I would. If I go back in time, I will actually explore more, because I remember my first few fights doing it as a pro. I wasn't so comfortable in certain areas of the fight mixed martial art. Like I wasn't comfortable, like let's say in some jiu-jitsu exchange, I wasn't comfortable on the cage. Like certain areas I haven't addressed because you sometimes you just want that label as a pro fighter. You feel kind of cool for it. So I would say don't rush the process. Focus on the process. Focus on the process. Get better at your skill, and eventually, once you're good enough, you're beating all the matches. Then when it's time to turn pro, you turn pro. When you turn pro, when you're supposed to turn pro, when you figure everything out, you have all the doubts and insecurities of what you have in your let's say in your martial arts. Then you turn pro. If you still have doubts, I'm not comfortable in the footlock exchange, then just spend more time there, get jiu-jitsu competition on your belt, or get more experience and explore more techniques in that area. Then once you're comfortable, turn pro.
Yeah, because it's way better to spend a little bit more time as an amateur, see what you need to work on, fix it, and then move up than to just rush going pro, then have the mistakes happen, and then you get a little flustered because you're like, what do I need to do? I got to keep this. I know I got to fix these, but I don't know if I have the necessary time to, because now I'm a pro. So that's what I hear from everybody is they take their time as an amateur, and if they feel comfortable, then they move up.
Mm.
But I
think like there's a bit.
Yeah, but I won't take up too much of your time. I want to thank you, Amir, for coming on and have this interview with me. And I wish your rehab a smooth recovery. I hope to see you by the end of the year, if not sooner, so we can see you fight for the welterweight championship soon.
Yes, I'm hoping to get back as soon as possible, and looking forward to speak to you again soon. Thanks for having me.
No problem. And I also want to late congratulations on having a son. So,
okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Talk to you later.
All right.
That was Amir Khan of One Championship. He a welterweight contender. I want to thank him so much for coming on. And as always, this is Cage My IQ, the best place for MMA content. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch at the handles to the left. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're shooting for 200 subscribers right now, and we're the best in the business when it comes to preview and recap videos, as well as interviews like this. So and we have 3 sponsors for you. We got 99 Jersey. Use promo code SportsBoxShow20 at checkout to receive 20% off your next purchase. We got OddsJam. Go to the link in the bio to sign up to OddsJam so you never miss a bet again. Once again, go to the link in the bio, sign up, so when you make a bet, you never lose one again. And then lastly, we got High Tide Herbal. Use promo code CageMyIQ at 10 to receive 10% off your next purchase at www.hightideherbal.com. Once again, I'm your host, D-Bake. This was an interview with Amir Khan, and you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you for watching this episode of Cage My IQ on the Sports Box. Please remember to follow us on all of our social media outlets. On Facebook at Sportsbox Show, Twitter at Sportsbox Show, Instagram at The Sportsbox Show. Find us on YouTube and join Outside the Box, our Facebook sports discussion group. The Sports Box is brought to you by our sponsor, Showcase Sports in Hamilton. Showcase Sports for the elite athlete. And also our friends over at CrowdPlay. Download the free CrowdPlay app today and use promo code THEBOX at sign up for 10 free points. Thank you for joining us.